Today I'm teaching you how to make shepherd's pie. This dish can be enjoyed throughout the year, but with St. Patrick's Day around the corner, it's the perfect alternative to corned beef and cabbage. So first of all, what is shepherd's pie? It is a casserole type dish with some stewed meat at the bottom, typically with a couple vegetables. In this case, it's going to be carrots and onions, and then topped with a mashed potato crust. Now I'm going to make it as classically as possible, but I'm going to share with you a few additions, shortcuts, and tips along the way. I like to start by getting my mashed potatoes going. In case you missed that video on how to make the best mashed potatoes, check it out. But I like to start, of course, with a Yukon Gold potato because it's going to be just buttery and yummy. We'll bring these to a boil in salted water. If you want to skip this step for a quick weeknight meal, I'm not going to be mad if you use a refrigerated mashed potato. It works fine in this recipe. You can zhuzh it up if you want or just use them as is. Now it's time for the filling. Look, this whole recipe is super affordable and it's very easy. So don't let the name intimidate you. I like to start with a little butter and oil, and then in goes my veggies. Once your carrots have softened a little bit and your onion is starting to get translucent, it's time to add our meat. Basically, you're creating a little bit of like a beef stew. This is why the dish was created. People didn't want to throw their leftovers away. So leftover stew that they might have had the night before turned into shepherd's pie the next day. So while lamb is actually traditional in a shepherd's pie, I really like the combination of lamb and beef so that it's not too gamey. If I was making it at home, I really use more ground beef than lamb. All right, my potatoes are fork tender and I'm gonna return them back to the hot pot off the heat. At this point, I like to add some butter and some milk to let them melt and come together. Gonna season the potatoes. I'm just making a simple mashed potato here, so just a little salt and pepper, a little sour cream. I'm gonna stir in an egg yolk to help stabilize this when we bake it. And for a little controversy, cheese or no cheese? I do believe that classically, this was probably not made with cheese. However, it has been Americanized over the years and cheese has been added. And I'm not mad at it. So while I did tell you that I was gonna make the classic version, it's my show, and I wanna add a little cheese to the mashed potatoes. But I compromised, so I got a good Irish cheddar here, white cheddar. So I'm just gonna kinda add it in. You don't have to tell anybody. All right, our potatoes are ready to go on top of our pie. Let's finish the filling. All right, once our meat is all browned, our veggies have started to soften, we're gonna kind of finish up the filling here by adding our flavorings. Just some salt and pepper and some fresh rosemary and thyme because that pairs well with lamb and beef, so why not? You want this dish to almost be like mashed potatoes and gravy. So you wanna get a good gravy going with our filling, so we don't want it to be like super runny liquid. To help, I'm gonna add some flour, and this is gonna thicken it up before I add my liquids. Then a little Worcestershire and tomato paste. Now for a little beef stock. In an effort to keep this as classic as possible, I'm only gonna add some frozen green peas in here. However, if you want to boost the veggie content in your filling, a good choice is to add some of the mixed vegetables. You can see it's rich, kind of coated in sauce. All right, you know I love a good cast iron skillet meal and a one-pot meal. So if I was at home, I would just finish this dish right here in the cast iron skillet, but I'm trying to make it a little pretty for y'all. So at this point, you can add it to a casserole dish. I'm gonna spray just the edges of my dish a little bit to keep the mashed potatoes from sticking, and in goes the filling. You want it to almost fill your casserole dish so that you can get a nice heap of mashed potatoes on top. All right, I don't like to smooth my potatoes out too much because I want some of the browning to happen on these little peaks. All right, it's ready for the oven. Now everything is already semi-warm and cooked. So it's only gonna take like 20 to 30 minutes to get it all golden and bubbly. Woo, looks good. That's a good looking shepherd's pie. Okay, here goes. Now this just screams comfort, doesn't it? Let's see what's inside. Look at that. It's like the best of mashed potatoes and gravy in the perfect bite.